In this video, I'll be sharing with you a requested tutorial on how to cut this stylish wrap blouse. And this blouse is from Swing Slay on Instagram. So if this is something you like, kindly hit on the subscribe button. Let's dive right into today's video. Now to start, here is my pattern. I'm using this line as my starting line, and after that this is my shoulder to bust, shoulder to under bust, shoulder to waist, and my blouse length. So for my blouse length, I just added 5 inches after my waistline. So go ahead to measure any blouse length of your choice. Now I'll mark my shoulder divided by 2 plus half because this dress has a sleeve, and I'll come down by 1 inch. Here I'll mark a neckline of 3.5 inches, and I'll go ahead to connect. So you can use within 3 inches to 3.5 for the neckline. So I'll be making use of a neckline depth of 3 inches, and I'll place my curve through and go ahead to connect it. After I'm done connecting, the next step I'm going to take is to go ahead to find my chest line. To find my chest line is my bust circumference divided by 6 plus 1.5 inches. I'll draw a straight line at that point. After this, I'll go ahead to place my tape, and I'll mark my shoulder divided by 2 plus half because I'm going to attach a sleeve to this dress. That's why you're adding ½ inch. So I'll take this all the way up. After I'm done marking, I'm going to go ahead to divide what I have here into 2, come out by ½ inch. Here I'm going to mark my bust circumference divided by 4. Now I'll connect all the way going up and also connect to the lower part of this blouse. So after I'm done connecting, the next step I'm going to take is to go ahead to mark my dart. I'm going to mark my nipple to nipple divided by 2, and I'm going to mark this coming from the bust, under bust, waist and blouse length. Now after marking this, I'm going to place my ruler, and I'll draw a straight line connecting my pattern all the way to the blouse length. Now after I'm done connecting on both sides, the next step I'll take is to go ahead to connect from my armhole down to my bust point. So I'll go ahead to connect from the bust to that armhole part, and I'll blend this in. So for the dart, I'll mark ½ inch here and mark 1.5 inches at the other side. If you're plus size, you're going to mark 1 inch here and 2 inches on this other side. If you're also busty, you mark 1 inch here and then also mark 2 inches at the other side. Now after I'm done marking this, I'm just going to place my curve through, and I'll connect to the bust point and also connect at the other side of my pattern. Now after I'm done marking this out, the next step is to outline. So after I'm done marking, I'm going to mark ½ inch here, ½ inch on the other side, and I'll blend this dart into the initial line we have here. Now when you're joining a princess dart, you notice the part at the center is slightly longer than that of the side. So to make up for that part, the dart intake we took on both sides, which is ½ inch, I'll extend it all the way out of the other side. That is giving me 1 inch dart intake, and I will connect this back into my pattern. Now after I'm done connecting at this point, I'll just go ahead to connect this at the armhole of my pattern. Now the next step I'm going to take is to go ahead to insert my measurement. I'll mark my bust circumference divided by 4, measure this dart intake, replace, then add my sewing allowance. After marking that, here I'll mark my under bust circumference divided by 4, measure the dart intake, and then add my sewing allowance. Mark my waist circumference divided by 4, measure the dart intake I have there, and then add a sewing allowance. On the waist, I'll mark my waist circumference divided by 4, measure the dart intake, and go ahead to replace it, add my sewing allowance. Now I'll go ahead to place my tape and my ruler, and I'll connect this all the way to the lower part of this pattern. Now after I'm done marking this, I'll outline. After outlining, the next step is to mark my bust dart, and to get the bust dart is the difference between the shoulder to waist in front and your shoulder to waist at the back. So while recording, my camera stopped, so I'll be explaining this part. Just like I said, go ahead to measure your shoulder to waist in front and measure your shoulder to waist at the back. My shoulder to waist in front is 17, while my shoulder to waist at the back is 15.5 inches. Now if you take out 15.5 from 17, you will have 1.5. So I marked 1.5 inches below my bust and I connected it towards the bust point. So next, I'll go ahead to transfer all these measurements on this other side of my pattern. After transferring my measurements, the next step I'm going to take is now to alter this pattern to get the design we have on this dress. So from here, I'll go up by 1 inch at the neckline. This is a built-up neckline dress, and I'll come in by 1.25 and I'll blend it down. So this 1.25 is not a constant. I'm just using it to blend in towards the shoulder. Now from this point, now I'm going to take that line and follow it all the way going towards the neckline. From the center, I'll place my tape and I'll mark about 2 inches. Now you can decide to use these 2 inches I went in by, or go ahead to take a measurement that is okay for you. Now from there, I will go ahead to blend it into the actual neckline, go down a little and create like a curve, then slant it going towards the other side of the neckline of this dress, towards the nipple to nipple point here. Now when I get there, I'll just go down a little and I'll start slanting this towards this side. I went in by 1 inch and I'll go ahead to connect it going towards this side of my pattern. So this is what I have on this side, right? From the other neckline, I'll repeat exactly what I have there, what I did on the other side, right? Go up by 1 inch, blend it in by 1.25, and from that neckline also I'll come in. So if you don't want to go through all this stress, you can use your tracing wheel, but I'm doing this just in case it won't get too confusing. So from the center again, I'll measure 2 inches and I will come up by that same measurement and then connect it back to the neckline of this dress. So from here, I'll go down a little just like I did for the other side and then measure about 2.5 inches down my neckline, or 3 inches. So you can go ahead to pick a measurement that is suitable for you on this neckline area of this pattern. So this is more like a wrap and it's coming over to the other side. So when I cut out this pattern, I'll be replacing the parts that I will cut out from. So after that, I'll just go ahead and I will outline my pattern, right? So sorry for the noise at the background of this video. It is actually raining while I'm recording. So I'm just going to go ahead to cut out this part and I will be replacing it. Now before going ahead to do that, I'll go up by 1.5 inches and connect. You can use 2 inches or 2.5. So after blending out, this is what I have, and I'll go ahead to label this pattern before cutting it out so that I don't misplace each part of my pattern. So I'll write this as right side front, right center front, left center front, and left side front. Now blend in your dots when you're cutting out your pattern also. If you have any questions so far, please go ahead to ask, and I'll just cut this out and then we'll now replace the other side and I'll go ahead to cut out the rest.
That's my brother. I don't want pull no trigger. I just want me, cause I can place. I don't want no wahala, no wahala, no wahala, no wahala, no wahala, no wahala. The last time that I checked.
Now after cutting out, this is what I have. So this other side is complete. What I'll do is to add a pattern paper underneath and I will tape it down. So this will reduce the process of going ahead to like draft another pattern for this side. So I'll just mark the lower side of this pattern and I'll take it all the way up. So now this will be replacing this part that we cut out, so that our pattern can easily overlap at the other side of the pattern, since it's more like a wrap dress, right? So when you now make this will now overlap at this other side. Now if you don't want to add the whole of this, all you have to do is just to add like few inches round it, which you're going to use to like attach it to this dress at this point and it will overlap. Now let's go over to the back pattern. I've gone ahead to mark out the zipper allowance. I marked the chest line, the shoulder to bust, the shoulder to waist, and after the shoulder to waist at the back I added additional 5 inches, just like I did for the front. So go ahead to take your own measurement. Remember, the shoulder to waist at the back is shorter than that of the front because I'm using a bust dart technique for this pattern. Now to start, I'm going to mark my dart, and for my dart I'll be marking my nipple to nipple divided by 2, and I'll place my ruler to draw a straight line. So after I'm done marking, I'm just going to go ahead to mark my dart intake. So sorry, I'm going to mark 1/2 inch on the both sides of my waistline, come down by 1 inch here, and I'm going to place my tape, connect this up, connect this at the other side. So sorry, this part of my video is blurry. I did not really notice that when I was drafting out. I'll mark the midpoint of my armhole and connect it back to my bust point. Now I'll mark my bust circumference divided by 4, add my sewing allowance. Mark my waist circumference divided by 4, measure the dart intake, replace, and add my sewing allowance. At the blouse length, I'm going to mark my hip circumference divided by 4, and then I'll add my sewing allowance to the pattern. So after I'm done marking this, I'm just going to go ahead to connect from the bust point, from the bust to the waist, and from the waist to the blouse length. After I'm done connecting this, I'm just going to go ahead and come up by 1.5 inches here at the back, and I'll connect. So if you want to use 2 inches, 2.5 inches, it is still okay. So I'm sorry for my pattern or this video for going blurry at this point. I had no idea when I was recording. So what I'm trying to achieve is the neckline I have on the right side of my pattern. So for the neckline, what I used was a basic neckline of 3 inches, and I went up by 1 inch and I slanted it all the way to the neckline of my dress. So after connecting the neckline, I went in by 1/2 inch from the waist, extended it all the way up, and I'll take it down. So after that, this is what we are basically doing for the back. We don't really have much. The only thing we did was on the neckline, the neckline I used was 3 inches, and I went up by 1 inch and then slanted it into the neckline and towards the zipper. So I'll just go ahead and I will cut this out. After I'm done cutting out, I am done with this pattern. So if you have any question regarding this pattern, please go ahead to ask, especially the part where the video was a bit blurry. You can go ahead to ask any question.